Colour is an integral part of design, but there are some architects that really stand out. And when Wattle was given the opportunity to partner with the visionary genius Scott Weston, well, we absolutely jumped at the chance.
Hello, I'm Scott Weston. I'm a Sydney-based architect, and I've had the pleasure of buying a grand Italianate Victorian terrace in the heart of Sydney, and I'm about to raise this grand old dame from her slumber.
For Wattle, this project is a fantastic opportunity because we don't very often get to work with a building of this vintage, particularly when it comes to conserving some of the elements that you want, as well as the way that you want to modernise some of those parts of the building.
Great to have you on board, and I look forward to working with you. So why don't you come along and I can show you the things I want to talk about.
Yep.
The people that we'd bought the house off previously, her name was Edith, and she was from Latvia, and her husband was from Mexico. So there's a Mexican influence going on here throughout the house, from the agaves out the front to the pink floorboards. Let's treat it as almost like a traditional floral rug, where we sand the floor back, get Wattle to analyse the floor colour, and we can paint the floorboards and reinstate them in this fantastic pink that we really love. So how would I go about doing that?
Okay, we'll just need to get a piece of the timber with the pink on it. We'll send it to our colour lab to come up with a colour as close as possible to what the original is. And from there we can look at a couple of alternatives, one being a decking paint, the other is to look at some of our stains and play with the opacity. So rather than have it quite translucent, so to see the grain of the timber, we'll look at building up the opacity to try and get as much coverage as possible.
I look forward to seeing what we can come up with and what the samples would start to look like.
Yeah, I'm quite sure we can do it.
That's great. So the big issue with this front veranda, I've had hundreds of people come through this house and they always say to me, Scott, you've actually got to keep this patina. Look, it's old lead paint, I know that it's dangerous, but I want to try and preserve it in some way.
So the method that we recommend would be, firstly we'd still need to prepare the surface here, remove whatever's loose and flaky, clean it down, get rid of any residual dust, so any coating. Once we're back to a sound surface, then we can look at applying a lacquer or a varnish over the top, and that will bind up and conserve the products that are on here, the current coatings, and also some of these residual dusty plaster layers.
Great, it's great. So the reason why we've chosen these colours to the roof balcony, it's based on the colour scheme that I'm working with Wattle on, the lilacs, the pinks and the yellows, and the colours of the front two Victorian rooms. The main living room downstairs, which will be in a beautiful pastel pink. We've got a hallway with a dado wall, which will be in the grey lilac. The dining room, which connects the living room together, it'll be in a beautiful, almost a pistachio green. So there's going to be a common thread through the house where the Wattle colour scheme continues through to the rest of the new addition.